Welcome to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Lorianne Casdia. I'm so happy that you're here today. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Our goal here at Healthy Lifestyle is to inspire, educate, and empower you to fulfill a healthy, emotional, spiritual, and physical life so you can feel empowered to live the life you have wanted and dreamed. So today on our show, I'm really excited to have Sue Pine on. She is from Serenities Now. She helps people find personalized tools so they can have a more peaceful life. Her toolbox includes the emotion code, body code, yoga, CPTG Essential Oils, and many other lifestyle resources, ultimately with the goal of helping people find their purpose and find their joy. Similar to what I do as far as coaching and being a transformational success coach, helping people find their purpose and then setting them up for success. And all these tools are so helpful, and that's why we wanted Sue to come on. She is a dynamo. You are going to love her. Welcome to the show, Sue.
I thank you so much, Lorianne. It's such a privilege to be here.
I'm so glad you came here. So tell us a little bit about you and tell us how you got involved in the items that we mentioned that are in your toolbox.
Well, a little bit about me. I worked 31 years in the steel industry, and which has absolutely nothing in common with the things I do today, other than it was a really good source of stress, and I learned along the way the damage that stress can do to somebody, and I learned all these wonderful tools to help get past it. And when I left that industry, I was just led to start Serenities Now so that I could help other people find the same solutions that I found.
Serenities Now reminds me of Seinfeld episode when George's father kept saying that. I don't know if you're familiar with the episode, but it was great. He kept saying Serenity Now. So
that's where my company got its name.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's why it's Serenities, because the Serenity Now is impossible. You can't get serenity immediately.
Right.
It's a process.
Yes. Yes.
And I do love that episode.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. So stress is the worst thing we can put our body through because it affects all of our systems, especially our immune system. So being in a stressful situation, being just very upset and doubtful and put into doubt and put into a scenario where you're uncomfortable. All those things put so much stress on your heart, on your body, on all of your system. And that's something that you work on. So one of the tools in your toolbox that we mentioned was the emotion code. Talk to us about the emotion code and how you came upon it.
The emotion code is an amazing, amazing tool for a more peaceful life. It was developed by Dr. Bradley Nelson, who is a chiropractor, and it uses a form of energy work where we identify and correct imbalances. Some people have symptoms that doctors keep saying that's all in your head. Well, it's not necessarily. I mean, that low back pain you have could be a trapped emotion, and that's what that imbalance is. Some people call it emotional baggage that they lug around, but everybody has some amount of this emotional baggage. It's the stuff that gets trapped. Like, for example, you're in first grade and your teacher asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you say something and she laughs. And that sounds terrible, but that happened to me. And it caused me to trap an emotion that stayed with me most of my life until I discovered this wonderful modality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Trapped emotions, they can cause physical pain, emotional distress, it can make you susceptible to infections and toxins and, your nutrition and your structural imbalances.
Yeah, I know that from my personal experience that I used to have IBS and colitis. I still have a little bit of diverticulosis, but I would get oh my gosh, my colitis was terrible. It was off the chart. And then I made a couple of shifts in my life, and I haven't had a colitis attack, knock on wood, in years. And I haven't had an IBS attack in years. And on occasion, I still get diverticulosis, but it's it's only when I'm in stressful scenarios. And even then, it's not as stressful as the stress I was under before. So that stress in prior years was so magnified that it really, my body started breaking down, and it started getting worse and worse and worse and worse, to the point where I would have an attack infrequently, and it got to the point where I had an attack almost every other week, and something had to give. And that's what the doctors basically said, is you have to eliminate stress, to which we all laugh, especially being moms or parents, or, okay, where am I going to cut it out? Right. So, but I found a way, and I changed the direction of my life. And by doing so, it allowed me to start working on that emotional, air quotes, baggage that was being caught in that area. That area is a weakened area. So anytime I get stressed, that's the first thing that starts to develop pain. And so now that I know that that's a trigger, I know to pay attention to that and then find out what I'm going through and see what I need to do to reduce that stress so I don't actually physically deteriorate. That makes sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. In fact, most doctors that I have spoken with have told me that the majority of the patients that they talk to, and this is a wide range, but anywhere from 80 to 95%, depending on who I'm talking to, tell me that the root cause of the patient's problem is stress.
Yeah.
Stress can do such damage.
Yeah.
And we just kind of have gotten numb to it. It's like, life is stressful. It doesn't have to be.
Yes. Thank you for saying that. It doesn't have to be stressful. You just need to find the joy. Sue, I talk to our listeners about choosing the joy camera as opposed to the angry camera, or the gratitude camera as opposed to the upset camera, that we have a choice every day to look at the same situation with a different set of lenses. And that significantly reduces stress. I mean, I do find a lot of my day that I'm pretty much laughing at myself because I do silly things. I don't stress out about it. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And then we laugh and we move on and we correct and we learn from those mistakes. And as far as how we look at mistakes or failures, we look at them as opportunities to learn and grow, as opposed to making them just look or sound bad. It used to sound bad to me, and now I look at it as an opportunity to learn and grow.
And I think that is so wonderful. One thing that you said that is like one of my all-time favorite tools is you laugh. I don't know if you're familiar with laughter yoga, which was developed by Dr. Casdia in India. He just started laughter for no reason, and found out in all his research, he's a medical doctor, and in all his research, they found that the body doesn't know if it's laughing for a reason or not a reason, but you get all kinds of good feel-good hormones, your heart is healthier, of course your mood is better.
Sure.
So anytime you can take time to laugh, and especially when we're doing silly things, like I'll reach to put a cap on something and I'll go for like the opposite cap and it'll fall in the jar or something,
Yes.
and you just laugh at the silliness of it. You could get mad, but don't flip it.
Well, there's
I believe flipping it is the secret.
Yes, flipping it. And we have that choice. And I say this all the time, is life is about choices, and we can choose to get upset about it if that's okay. And some days, to be honest with you, I do want to get mad. I do want to get upset. I just feel like being cranky. Okay. Hopefully I'm not around a lot of people when I do, but it takes so much more energy to be cranky and to be angry and to be sad and to be upset than it does to be happy and to laugh and to joyous. You know how easy it is to laugh, how much lighter you feel when you laugh, right? So
Exactly.
It's a choice. So I choose. And it's so funny you mentioned about the cap. Just the other day, I was making coffee for myself and my honey, and he has a larger Yeti than I do. So we have two different size tops. And of course I used my top on his cup. So it went right in the coffee. And I was just standing in front of the coffee pot, absolutely hysterical at myself. And I was like, okay, this is how it's going to be today. So it just told me to slow down is what that told me. And it wasn't any big thing. You know, nobody lost an eye, and it wasn't big tragedy. And like my dad used to say, and this saying has gotten me through so much in my life and allowed me to stand up when I didn't think I could, which was there are always other people in a far worse situation than I have ever been in. And I'm very grateful and thankful for that. But that also allows me to stand up in the hardest of days, in the most stressful of days, and the most challenging of days, to remind ourselves that that's the case. There are people going through far worse than we are. You know, so a cap falling into a top falling into a coffee cup, that's nothing. If that's the worst thing that happens in my day, I'm having a great day.
That's exactly right. And the thing that gets me through is that everything that, I perceive as an issue, I know is going to work together for good in the long run.
Yeah.
If I make it an intention to learn something from it, then it's going to be better. And you learn to be thankful for all things, not just the good things, but even the challenges that you face.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I look at all the challenges and as growth, as an opportunity, as it's an opportunity to learn, an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to be a better person, make better choices. So, and is this where the emotional code goes, or?
The emotion code, actually, let me talk just a little bit about a trapped emotion, if it's okay.
Of course.
It's this tiny little ball of energy. Everything is energy. And you get these tiny little balls of energy, and what a trapped emotion is like something that your body is saying, ooh, I don't want to do that again. And so our body cares about us and wants to keep us safe. Our subconscious is a very, very strong-willed thing. And what it'll do is it'll take you're angry and you don't want to be angry again, or you're in pain and you don't want to be in pain again. And it'll take this little ball of energy around it and kind of trap it. And like you were saying about your digestive system, it's the weakest place. Well, our body tends to stuff those trapped emotions in those areas for some reason. So for me, if I have a trapped emotion, it usually ends up under my right rib somewhere, and I can kind of feel that little bubble, that little discomfort. And in the emotion code, we learn to identify what that trapped emotion is, and then we just release it using positive intention, swiping our governing meridian. And so I have people that I've worked with that have had low back pain, and what we found was just lots of those little energy balls trapped down in their back, the low back, and once we release those, everything can get back in alignment where it belongs.
Yeah.
and the back pain is gone.
Yeah. And I've heard that so many times that's the case. Some people carry it in their shoulders, some people carry it in their back, some people carry it in their digestive systems, some people under their ribs, like you had said. So, and in doing that, it's so amazing how swiftly we move through it. Do you use essential oils while you're doing this process?
If I am led to do that, yes.
And what do you mean for our listeners when you say if you're led to do that?
Well, I rely a lot on intuition. When we work in the emotion code, and then there's also the body code, which is kind of like the emotion code, times a million.
Right.
But when I work with those things, I'm actually tapping into the other person's energy. And so you feel what's going on. And it's an energetic thing. So if I'm asking the subconscious, is this going to be helpful, or what is going to be helpful? Sometimes I will be directed. Led is like being directed to this person needs an oil. Maybe it's a frankincense. Maybe it's lavender. Maybe it's a blend to help them find their peace. And a lot of times we will do that to help support the body so they can release things a little easier.
Yeah. And when you listen inside as opposed to going outside, you actually get those directions. Because I know every morning when I'm picking out an essential oil for me, after I meditate, it's amazing what it goes to. And it's always the right essential oil for that day. So sometimes it's release and sometimes it's humble and, harmony. It depends on the day. And I'm always intrigued. I'm almost entertaining myself every time I go through the process to find out, I get excited and I look forward to what that choice is going to be. And it just comes to me. It just comes to me.
Yeah.
And I go with it. And when I go with it, it just works for the day.
Mm-hmm. And do you notice that some days the oils smell one way and some days the oils smell a different way?
Yeah.
It's just... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and sorry to cut you off. I find that sometimes that oil that I love on one day doesn't smell right another day, which always tells me I need it.
Sometimes that is the way it works.
Yeah.
I'm often directed on which way to use the oil, because sometimes all you need to do is put it in the palms of your hands and breathe it in. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you need to rub it on your feet. Sometimes if you're using a certified pure therapeutic grade oil that has been tested and is proven safe, sometimes you need to put it under your tongue. I use celery seed oil under my tongue almost every day.
What does that do?
And I'm not sure. It helps with digestive, but not digestive just physically, but also digesting emotion, digesting feelings, digesting whatever's left over that you need to get rid of. And I would have never thought that, but it just comes up almost every single day.
And that's the CPTG, Certified Pure Therapy Grade Essential Oils. And how do we tell the differences? Because I do know that there are certain brands out there that are absolutely certified pure. And there's a big difference between what is labeled pure and what is actually pure, because our government allows things to be labeled pure if only has 5% in it. So how do we know it's a CPTG?
The way I know is by doing my research.
Okay.
And there are just very few companies I trust. I look at where is the oil sourced, how is it grown, and how do they test it? And there are so many testing methods out there. You can look at the testing reports of the oil, and they'll tell you whether that oil has been modified in any way. If the company doesn't test their oils, I'm not going to even breathe them in.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're putting on your skin, whatever you're breathing in, it's going into your body.
Yeah. Well,
So,
yeah. We should never put anything on our body that, isn't safe to ingest, to be quite honest. I know there's one company called Young Living, and full disclosure, my listeners know this. They know that I'm a brand partner with Young Living. I completely love their products and what they do, not only for their products and the high level grade that they work through, but I also love the fact of their farms and how they treat their farms and how they treat their farmers and how they take care of their lands and how they give back to the world. It is an unbelievable company, and I really love their oils. And I do know that with Young Living, they do test it, and we know where that product is from seed to seal. And that's one of the guarantees that they have is that. Are there other companies that you use real quick?
I personally, if I had to pick the brands that I use, I would narrow it down to Young Living. And the reason being is that they do test their oils, that anywhere along the process where that plant has been, how it was distilled, how it was processed, how it was bottled, where it was stored, and how it was shipped.
You've been listening to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. We're going to take a short break and come back and speak more with Sue Pine. She's outstanding. We'll see you in a few. Welcome back to Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I am Lorianne Casdia, and we are speaking to Sue Pine. She is unbelievable. She is from serenitiesnow.com. Really a successful individual who has a toolbox full of different tools and modalities, the emotion code, the body code, yoga, CPTG, essential oils, etc. But in the meantime, if you want to be a guest on Healthy Lifestyle, please email us at healthylifestylewithla@gmail.com. You can also reach me at ldcstrategies.com. And we're on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, etc. So you can reach out to speak to us, to comment. We really do respond to all of that. In the meantime, I want to jump right back into our conversation with Sue. And Sue, we spoke about the emotion code briefly. Tell us what differentiates the emotion code and the body code, and I know that's a lot deeper.
The body code is actually the next step. Dr. Nelson found that you could use the same type of testing, the same type of connecting to another person's energy to ask even deeper questions of the body. So in the body code, there's different sections you can look at. You can, of course, look at the energy side, which is your emotion code. It's actually a subset of the body code. But you can also look at things like alignment of the body, of toxins, of nutritional needs, things like that. And from there, you can release whatever is in the way. They have 6 categories: energies, circuits and systems, toxins, pathogens, misalignments, or nutrition and lifestyle. So if a person has things going on, maybe they are trying to identify why they've got certain pains, and the emotion code is saying, no, there's not a trapped emotion here. We can dig a little bit deeper, and maybe we'll find that there's a toxin. And this could be a toxin that's current, or it could be the stored energy of a toxin. And we can release that, and the body is more able to come into balance.
How do you go through the process of releasing?
It's very simple. We all have meridians throughout our body, which are just the way the energy flows in and out. And you can use, for beginners, we always recommend you use a magnet, even though our fingers have a magnetic force. And all you do is swipe your general meridian, your governing meridian, which goes from like the front of your head to the back of your head, 3 times with the intention. And the intention is really important, saying, for example, I'm releasing this toxin. Maybe it's a toxin from a vaccination. So we just 3 times swipe, and then we check to make sure that it's gone. We check to see if there's anything else the body needs to do, and it can follow up with it. And once we've taken care of all of that, we just move on.
Acupuncture, acupressure, they all use meridians as well to keep the flow going through your system, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So do you ever do it in combination with acupressure, acupuncture? Acupressure is when you don't use the needles. You're putting pressure on.
There are a lot of things that I can use that with. In the nutrition and lifestyle section of the body code, sometimes they will recommend that, and then you just find out where is the point, and you work with that. I like to use what I call FLEXAROMA. It's a modality that I've invented on my own that uses essential oils, reflexology points, which are these acupressure points, and a gentle massage. So a lot of times if someone needs maybe help just relaxing the brain, we'll find out what essential oil will help them with that. Then we'll find the reflexology point or the acupressure point. They're both pretty much the same. Maybe the base of the big toe or the base of, or the top joint of the thumb, and we'll just apply the oil and we'll just massage until we feel the results. With that intention that it's going to help us. We have to have the intention.
Tell us more about why we need to have the intention. And that's an important element in anything when we're doing affirmations and things like that. The intention has to be there.
Yes, you have to set the stage, I guess. That's the way I would put it. It's very important that you say, this is what I expect is going to happen. If we don't do that, we all have histories. We all have pasts. That's nothing good, nothing bad. It's just the way things are. And we have a default mode. If I look back years ago, my default mode was kind of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh.
Aw.
Oh no, nothing is good. Why bother? If I don't set a positive intention, well, my body remembers, well, this worked for 50 years. This is what we're going to use.
Right. That's what we call reflex. We reflex back into what our system knows, and we have to redesign it. We actually have to retrain our minds to have a different kind of mindset so that our body doesn't go into the reset. It's very much what athletes do. They reset their muscles by doing the same thing over and over and over and over again so that they get it into the place where they want it. So it becomes a reflex. They automatically do it. When they get a certain scenario, they do this reflective response. That's why we practice, doing fire drills. It becomes a reflex. What do? The bell goes off, we go to the nearest exit, right? So the same thing with this on a much deeper level. So that intention, that's setting the stage. I love the way you put that, and saying, what do you expect? You can create it to be a positive things. What do you do, Sue? Do you ever come across people who are open to these ideas but don't have that right mindset, right intention? And what do you do if you do?
Sometimes I find that it is actually a trapped emotion or a thought process that their body says it's not safe for me to proceed. It's like, no, been there before, don't want to go back.
Right.
And so sometimes we have to work on releasing that garbage that's getting in the way And once we've done that, if we still are getting resistance, then we're going to practice different tools. Like I had mentioned, flip it. You know, it's like, okay, what do you think's going to happen? What do you want to happen? Okay, let's flip what you think to be what you want. You know, we might practice affirmations where we just tell ourselves every day, things are going to work out for me. Things always work out for me. You know, we might start out really gently with, I believe things work out, and then we get a little more bold, things work out, and then we go, things always work out. So
That's right out of Esther Hicks. Things are always working out for me. Absolutely. And I love that phrase because you just keep repeating and really feeling that emotion that things are going to be just fine. Don't worry about it. Universe, God, source, however you refer to your higher power, has this, and they do have our back no matter what. It's out there.
Exactly.
It's the law. They have to have our back. That's what happens. But if we put out there that we're, it's not working out, and it won't, because that's what you just asked for by thinking about things like that. 60,000 thoughts, of which 95 to 97% are negative thoughts in most people's head on a daily basis. Can you imagine that? It is just astounding. So we have to retrain our brain. That's why I say, shut off the TV, don't shut off the radio though, because we're talking here. But shut off these toxic things. Don't watch those blow them up type of movies. All those negative things come into our lives, give us negative thoughts, and then they start to become our reality. And that's why you see a lot of people just shutting all this stuff out and just focusing within, because all of our success codes are inside. So we really want to utilize these tools like the emotion code and the body code and yoga. How do you use yoga with your emotion code and your body code? Is it the process of stretching? Because I know that through yoga, we quiet our minds and open up our meridians. Is that why we use it?
Well, we use it to tune in, to become mindful, to listen for our Creator to speak to us at times. Yoga is so good for getting the body moving. If you want to get healthy, you need to move your body. You can't be emotionally and spiritually healthy if you're ignoring your body and letting it just fall to pieces, because it's going to look out for itself first. So yoga is great for the stretching aspect, for the focus, and for being able to listen. And I never start a morning without yoga. Before I even do anything in my day, other than saying good morning to my Creator, it's the yoga mat.
Yeah. Do you do the salutation, morning salutation?
No, I have a more of a hatha yoga style, which is gentle stretching and strengthening. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And do you incorporate, because we do multi-modalities here, right? So do you incorporate essential oils in while you're doing the yoga? Or do you do that? Do you proceed or follow that?
If I'm led, and normally I'm not.
Okay.
Normally it's just me and the stretching and the peacefulness, the letting everything just kind of reset and get ready for the day.
Yeah, I love that. I love your phrase too, that you believe we're all created for a purpose, and your purpose is to be an instrument of God's peace in today's chaotic world. You are so calming. Every time I see you, every time I hear you, you just have this calming essence about you that just makes me go, you really are peace embodied.
Thank you so much. That's so kind of you.
It's really quite beautiful, and it's very warming. It really is. And you know what makes you even more amazing, Sue, is that you're offering all of our listeners, if they should like, a free gift, a free 15-minute chat with you, or a consultation to help them understand more about the emotion code, their body code, and giving them some tools to help them. I think that's very generous. And they go to serenitiesnow.com for that, or how do they schedule that with you if they want to take you up on your free gift?
Well, they can email me at info@serenitiesnow.com, or they can find me on Facebook. Serenities Now is a Facebook business page. You can message me there. You can go to my website and schedule a session from there as well. And anybody that would like, that free session, they just need to mention that they saw you, they heard us on your show, Lorianne.
Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne.
Yes, and we'll make sure they get that first session for free.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that's a very generous thing for you to do. So, Sue, I ask all my guests this question. What's your why? Why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do?
Uh-huh.
It's because I believe that's why I'm here on earth. To give people a way to find their peace. I mean, I serve a God of peace. Yeah. My Creator is peace, and that's how I share.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful why. And how did you get through the last couple of years? It's been a little chaotic. What tools did you institute in your life that you could share with the listeners that maybe they can start to institute in theirs?
My number one tool is my breath. I breathe. I take a deep breath. I might count to 5 when I inhale. And as I exhale, I'll count to 10. It's like I take and I breathe it in, and then I just let it go slowly. Whatever's there, whatever's in the way, I just let it go. And that's my number one tool. I also, do use the oils. I do use the emotion code for myself and the body code. I practice good nutrition. The last couple of years, I haven't been as physically active as I normally like, because I haven't really been in the gym and things like that. But I still believe that we have to stay active. And now that the weather's warmer, I can get back to my outside stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's just not allowing any of the chaos that's out there. And boy, there is some out there.
Yeah.
Not allowing it to become mine. Like, I don't own it.
Don't own it.
Not mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't own it. That's a really good piece of advice, is don't own it. It's not yours. We need to own what is ours and what we can control. So, my mentor, Jack Canfield, taught us this equation: E plus R equals O. Events plus response equals outcome. Our response is the only thing we can control in that equation. And so not owning something that's not ours is part of that response. And I think it's real important that we look at these events, understand that they're out there, be aware, but we don't have to own it and we don't have to feel it deep inside. We really have to look at what we can control, and our response we can control. So I always return to that. I return in, like you, the breathing, doing pranayama, that's a breathing methodology, is so important, that inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth slowly with counting is real important too in that process. That is really good. It fills our bodies up with the air and the nutrition that we do. The oxygen that we need gets filled in when we take those deep breaths, and it also slows everything in our system down, and we feel a little less teetered. We feel less out of control. And so that's always my go-to as well. So we have a lot of similarities when it comes to that, but you certainly have so many skills and so many tools out there. Again, I encourage you to go to serenitiesnow.com and reach out to Sue Pine, see if she can help you with your body code, with your emotion code. You will love the fact that you do. Sue, I can't thank you enough for being on with us. Any final thoughts that you want to share with our listeners?
It's been such a pleasure chatting with you. And the one thing that I did not mention that's just so important in all of this is to stay hydrated. Drink lots of water. We're flushing all this garbage out of ourselves. And it's not just physical, When we're doing these modalities, people don't drink enough water.
Yeah.
So I know that seems really simple, but I just can't go without saying that.
And I'm glad that you did mention that. And here's, again, folks, you've heard this before from me, is that life doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be difficult. It really is in the simplicities that we love it, that we can survive, that we can live a really good, joyous, happy life. So don't forget, take Sue's advice, definitely hydrate, definitely breathe, reach out to her, visit her at serenitiesnow.com. And I hope to have you back again, Sue. I'd love to dive a little bit deeper into these different modalities. And I know you have other ones, and I really would love to really dive into your FLEXAROMA. I think that's really cool that you invented your own modality, and we'd love to hear more about that as well. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, thank you. It was a pleasure.
And if you all want more information about Sue Pines, you go to www.serenitiesnow.com and you can reach out, or info@serenitiesnow.com. She's on Facebook, Serenities Now. We're getting a pattern here, aren't we? Yes, indeed. So she is really, really as kind as she sounds, and really, really knowledgeable about all of this information. We just scratched the surface in this topic, but I really wanted to bring this to your attention, let you hear that there are these tools out there for you to access. In the meantime, thank you for joining us today on Healthy Lifestyle. My heart is always lifted by the fact that you have chosen to spend this time with us on this show. Again, Lorianne from Healthy Lifestyles. In the meantime, until we meet again, play a higher role, serve a higher purpose, show up for you, and show up big.